Your personal PMP coach from Certify with Ease, coming back to you guys with another brand new video. In this video, we are going to solve some simulator questions, and I'm making this for you guys so you could practice as well. 1 a.m., we're going to solve these 10 questions, and I'm going to go to bed. I haven't released a video in a week, and I want to help you guys as much as possible. That's why I'm making this video for you guys. So if you appreciate it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the notifications bell. And one more thing, guys, before we begin, I just released this new PMP in 30 challenge group. If you want to be a part of people that are studying for the PMP with a whole bunch of resources like daily challenges, for example, where I give questions on a daily basis, we discuss things. I have resources like in the classroom section. As you gain points, as you move up the leaderboards, you get access to my course, a light version of it. You get the PMP exam simulators, a full-length exam simulator, a professional resume revamp, six-figure job hunt strategy as you progress through the leaderboards. Okay, so you'll have a whole bunch of resources here. The leaderboards look like this, right? As you progress, as you get more likes, as you comment and you contribute to the community, you will be able to jump up the leaderboards and get more prizes. Okay, join the group. It's going to be in the description below. I'm going to cap it at 150. We are about 120 right now. So first come, first serve. Okay, awesome. Let us start now with our YouTube mock exam. So I think it was preview. Actually, yeah, it was preview. Yeah. So we're going to solve these 10 questions. These are some good questions, and we're going to solve them together. Now, again, same rule. You want to pause the video. You want to try to solve it yourself, and you want to see if you get the correct answer. You want to follow 3 steps. Number 1, frame the problem. Very, very important. Number 2, eliminate the answers that contradict our 23 PMP mindset principles. Number 3, choose the answer that best solves the problem. Okay, let's try this out. Following the approval of a new pharmaceutical research project, the PM must collaborate with key stakeholders to define detailed project requirements. Constraints and assumptions. I didn't see the comma there. However, some stakeholders are not immediately available for a formal in the near term, the full meeting in the near term. Man, 1 a.m. It's hard to read when you're tired. But anyways, some of the stakeholders are not available. What do we do now? Okay, that's the problem statement, guys. Simple as that. We don't care we're dealing with a pharmaceutical research project, right? We don't care that we have detailed project requirements, constraints, and assumptions. It can be a whole different bunch of different things as well. Some of the stakeholders cannot make it for this formal meeting. What should the project manager do in order to gather the information needed from stakeholders? Okay, so we need to still get this information somehow. Organize a planning session with the available stakeholders to begin drafting the project management plan. Now that's good. However, you are omitting or excluding the rest of the group. Now, stakeholders are extremely important, especially when you're defining key project components, like the question mentioned. So you want to have everyone involved somehow. I'm not going to choose A. Notify the sponsor about the unavailability, so we don't escalate things to the sponsor, right? Or anyone for that matter. Work with the internal project management team to develop the project plan before consulting stakeholders. Now, again, we need to involve our stakeholders. So we need to involve all these stakeholders somehow. We need to do something that will accommodate them. Reach out to each stakeholder individually via email, phone, or one-on-one meetings to collect their feedback. Yes, that's the answer, right? Pretty simple. But no, it's not efficient. But if you can't get a stakeholder to give their feedback, you need to find other ways to communicate with them. That's your job as a project manager, okay? The best answer here is going to be D, all right? Remember, the lesson here is that, especially in the beginning of a project, guys, when you're collecting these important pieces of information, you need to involve your stakeholders as much as possible. Remember that rule where many heads work better than one, right? So let's move on. Pretty straightforward question over there. Next. Okay, awesome. So, a financial services firm is executing an agile project to migrate its customer transaction database to a more secure cloud based platform. The migration is critical, as the current system will soon reach its end of support date. However, an unexpected regulatory requirement now forces the company to continue using the old system for another year at a significantly higher maintenance cost. Okay, so we have the situation where we are forced to now use an old system. But the main part that I want you to focus on, the problem statement is that we have to now pay more. We have a higher maintenance cost. So let's say, for example, we budgeted for $1 million. Now, because of this maintenance cost, we might have to pay an extra $10,000. That is our problem statement, guys. Remember that. We don't care that we're dealing with a financial service firm. We don't care that we're dealing with a cloud-based platform. It could be another situation. We only care about the last part of the question. Okay. What should the product owner do about this situation? That's interesting. The product owner this time. Okay. Now we're shifting the roles. Adjust the backlog priority based on business impact. Okay. That's value. Business impact is similar to value. That's one of our principles. Always always take the value driven approach. Okay. Reorder backlog items considering task difficulty and expertise available within the team. So we don't reorder the backlog items based on difficulty. We reorder them based on what's needed, right? The value, basically. So a value-based approach. So just because something is difficult does not mean that it's valuable to the company. Or just because something is easy does not mean that it's not valuable. Eliminate less critical backlog items to counterbalance the rise in operational expenses. So this is something that we do. It's something that we don't do for our backlog. We never eliminate items. When you see a question on your exam that talks about the product backlog and it says, you know what, eliminate, we never want to do that. We simply just reprioritize. Shift to a structured predictive methodology to avoid additional project delays. Okay. Now, on your exam, you will see some situations that say, you know what, just switch to a predictive approach, or from a predictive approach, switch to an agile approach. Never, ever, ever choose that option. It is so difficult to change project approaches mid-project. Okay, and we know for a fact that we're dealing with an agile project, so it's not going to make sense anyways. The best thing is going to be simply A. Okay, now guys, these questions are easy and they're meant to be easy. If you want more difficult questions, join my course, right? Or at least join the school community so you can get a little taste of difficult questions and a little taste of my course and whatnot. But I want you to understand the underlying concepts behind each question. When I say, guys, never choose this answer, note that down so that if you face something similar on your exam, you're going to know. Okay? Awesome. Let's move on to the next question over here. So, at a large automotive manufacturing facility, the executive team has approved an expansion project to increase production capacity by installing an advanced assembly machine and upgrading the factory's operational software. All of that is bogus. I don't need to know that. I don't need to know that. That's just setting up the situation. Let's continue reading. This expansion must take place while the plant remains fully operational. Okay. Now we're getting into the meat. To mitigate risk, the software upgrade will follow an agile methodology, whereas the procurement, installation, and integration of the new machinery will adhere to predictive approach. Okay, so we have a hybrid approach now. We have a hybrid approach. What types of communication should the project manager incorporate into the schedule management plan to ensure the project remains on track? Okay, now this is a mouthful of a question, a lot of information, but simply put it, we have a hybrid approach. Some components you're going to use agile, some are going to use predictive, and we're interested in knowing what types of communication should the project manager incorporate. I think I know where this question is going, but let's just see what the answers are. Bi-weekly written status reports from key production and engineering stakeholders. Weekly in-person meetings with relevant stakeholders at the manufacturing site. Bi-weekly virtual conference calls with necessary project stakeholders. Weekly individual meetings with each stakeholder involved in the project. Okay, so So let's look at this really carefully. Now, when it comes to predictive and when it comes to agile projects, the communication is different. The reason being is because in an agile project, things are moving so fast that you want to have face to face meetings. You want to have more regular meetings. In a predictive project, things are so planned out meticulously that you don't need to meet that often. So we got to kind of take these two things and combine them together, because in our project, we have some components that are predictive and some components that are agile. I'm going to eliminate A right off the bat. Bi-weekly written status reports from key production and engineering stakeholders. That's not what we want to do. When we have a meeting, we want to meet either virtually or face to face. Okay, so that's not going to work, especially for agile projects. So A is gone. Weekly in-person meetings with relevant stakeholders at the manufacturing site. Okay, now that's a good option, right? With the relevant stakeholders. We don't want to get people involved that don't need to be there. Remember, agile people are working nonstop. If I don't need to speak to John, who's an agile developer, then I don't need to bother him, right? Bi-weekly virtual conference calls with the necessary project stakeholders. That's good. That's good. Okay. Bi-weekly, a little bit too, a little bit too, a little bit too. I would say we need weekly, but bi-weekly is okay. Virtual conference calls. I'm going to get into this soon, but in person meetings are always better, according to the PMP. I know all of you guys like to work from home. I like working from home too, but in reality, in-person meetings are much better, especially for agile. Weekly individual meetings with each key stakeholder involved in the project. Okay, no, so we don't want individual meetings. Sorry. We don't want individual meetings. That's really inefficient. The best answer here is going to be B. Okay, weekly, frequent, right? Frequent as possible. Now, not too frequent, because you have some predictive stakeholders in your team, but weekly is good enough. In-person meetings with the relevant stakeholders at the manufacturing site. Okay, not just the engineering stakeholders, but the relevant stakeholders at the site. Best answer here. All right. Remember, guys, again, jot this down. In person, always better. Co-location, always better. Okay? Online is great when people are, for example, global. They're located in different countries. But in person is always going to be the best, according to the PMP. All right. Okay, awesome. So a construction project manager and team are overseeing the development of a new eco-friendly residential complex for a client. A regulatory inspector who was not involved during the contract negotiation phase is now requesting the installation of advanced energy efficient equipment that exceeds the agreed project specifications without increasing the project budget. Interesting. Okay, so this inspector is asking now that we need to install this extra piece of equipment, but it exceeds what has been initially stipulated, for example, in the project scope. But it doesn't increase the project budget, okay? So this is the trick here. Now they're saying that, hey, it doesn't increase the project budget. But it doesn't matter that it doesn't increase the project budget. You are still altering something in the project scope. Very important. This could be a huge risk, because when you're adding something new, it can break down. It can slow things down. Obviously, there's a lot of things that can happen. Okay, let's read the answers. Escalate the issue of the additional requirements to project steering committee, so we don't escalate things. Refer the inspector to the project scope and technical specifications outlined in the signed contract. Okay. Proceed with implementing the requested installation to maintain a good relationship with the inspector. No. Again, we want to take a step back, right? We don't want to just jump into this right away. Revise the project scope and schedule to include the new installation without seeking approval. Okay, so revising the project scope and schedule is a good idea to include the new installations. So they're already giving you an answer without seeking approval. So that's a giveaway. That's not going to be the answer whatsoever. The best answer is going to be B over here. Okay, so what can we derive? What lessons can we derive from this? Well, if something is going to alter something, if something's going to, like, if adding an additional equipment is going to alter the project scope, you want to make sure that in this case, the inspector knows that. And you want to make sure that things abide by the signed contract. Okay. So the contract here could be a literal contract, or it could be, for example, the project charter, or what was agreed upon in the project scope and whatnot. Okay. So there's a reason why in a predictive project, at least in this case, things have been stipulated beforehand. Okay. So refer the inspector to the project scope and technical specifications. Awesome. All right. And we're only on question 5. Okay, I gotta speed this up a bit. Okay. You know what? Let's look at the answers first. Let's do that. Let's apply some principles to train your PMP mindset. Provide appropriate training on mobile app security protocols to compensate for the mismatch. Okay, this sounds like a training mismatch or a training gap question, knowledge gap. Emphasize to teams the critical business impact of meeting the agreed deadlines. Okay, I like that. Critical business impact. Fine. Update the project schedule to reflect the delay and inform. So we never settled for a delay. Never. C is going to be out. Accept the risk of the project missing deadlines. D is out. So a PM is leading a Scrum team developing a retail e-commerce mobile app. In the second sprint, the team repeatedly misses deadlines for key features like payment integration and catalog management. After analysis, the project manager finds the delays stem from a lack of expertise. Oh, okay, we got the answer, man. We got the answer. The last sentence. A is going to be the best answer over here. We know the problem statement is a knowledge gap. A is going to be the best answer to fix that, okay? Now, you'll notice that a lot of the important information is at the end of the question. The first sentence is always setting up the situation. The project manager is working with a healthcare organization or a construction project, whatever. But the meat of the question is at the end or near the end. Okay, the second sentence might be important too, so don't skip it. But you need to stay focused when you get to the end of the question. That's how you're going to get to the answer. A lot of students, they struggle with framing the problem. They're able to understand which answers to eliminate, but they're always stuck with 2 at the end. And I always tell them, listen, you need to understand the problem statement because that's going to help you understand what the answer is. Okay, so construction project manager chose a highly adaptive strategy to oversee development of a large-scale commercial building. So you see, I don't need this information, right? Project consists of numerous iterative construction phases, each requiring input from highly specialized contractors and engineers. The project manager aims to develop realistic schedules and workflows that gain strong buy-in. Okay, we have our answer here. We want buy-in. We want buy-in. So I don't know what the solutions are, but we need to do something along the lines of aligning everyone to the same vision, right? Having this vision alignment, if that makes sense. So allocate critical structural tasks to the most experienced contractors. No, we're not at that stage yet. We're not at that stage yet. We need buy-in. That's the very beginning. So what is buy-in? Buy-in is basically when you have an idea, you need support, you need people to basically rally with you that this project is a good idea. Let's support our PM. Examine the construction budget with the team to confirm the availability of essential materials. So no, we're not at that stage yet. We're not even talking about budget, right? That's far later on. Evaluate key takeaways from large scale construction projects with the team. So past. Again, they never mentioned in the question about some past scale projects that we've done. So we're not going to choose that answer. Remember, when an answer mentions a piece of information not mentioned in the question, eliminate that answer. Communicate the broader architectural vision. There we go. Before assigning specific construction responsibilities. Vision. Very important. Get everyone on the same page. If you don't, there's no point of discussing budget, resources, and whatnot. All right. D is the answer. A software development project in the healthcare industry is currently in the second phase of a 6-phase plan. So I don't need to know that, right? It could be the third phase, the fourth phase. The development team has identified that a crucial software module will depend on the acquisition of a specialized medical data processing tool. Okay. What should the project manager do? Okay, so development team has identified that a crucial software module will depend on the acquisition. So this software depends on this processing tool. What should we do? Document the risk and escalate it? No. Assign the responsibility of acquiring the tool to the core development team. Okay. Update the project status report to reflect the delay? No. Arrange a stakeholder meeting to discuss. Oh, there we go. We got this. D is going to be the answer. All right, so A and C are gone. B, assign the responsibility of acquiring the tool to the core development team. Why? Right? That's not their responsibility. They're developers. D, arrange a stakeholder meeting to discuss reprioritization of deliverables. All right, awesome. That's a good answer. Easy answer. Oh man, we got a multiple choice. Okay, let's try to do this. Let's try to do this by just looking at the answers now. Again, just to train the mindset. Exclude insights gained from other teams' experiences. That doesn't sound right at all. Excessive discussions leading to no clear outcomes or too many conflicting ideas. Okay, so I think I got to read the situation here. Let's go back. In a healthcare IT project, the sponsor frequently requests the project manager to bypass retrospectives due to tight deadlines. However, the project manager insists on conducting these sessions by shortening preparation and discussion time. Okay, what are two issues that these actions by the project manager could cause? Okay, so we have a situation where the project manager wants to shorten the preparation and discussion time. So it's basically like you going into a meeting where no one is prepared and it's a random meeting. People are throwing out random ideas. There's no deliverables. There's no one taking meeting notes. And you wonder once you're done the 2 hour, 1 hour meeting, what actually went on, right? So you want to shorten this preparation time and discussion time. There are going to be negative consequences. What are those consequences? Excluding insights gained from other team members' experiences? Not really. You can still get that. You can still get that with the discussion. Excessive discussions. Oh, there we go. We got this. Yeah. So, I mean, I think every one of us has experienced this, right? Excessive discussions when there's no game plan. Emphasis on issues without engagement in future improvements. Okay. Lack of clear objectives and team motivation during the workshop. I think this is good. Okay. Lack of clear objectives. When you don't have an agenda before your meeting, when you're shortening preparation, you're going to have a lack of clear objectives. That's two, right? Yeah. Failure to update the time management plan for the retrospect. Okay. No. So B and D are good solutions here. All right. So you are going to have some multiple choice, multiple MCQ type questions where you have to select 2 or 3 options. Again, apply the principles. Okay. All right. Let's see the answers. Align with the team to redistribute tasks based on skills and capacity. Work with HR to hire a temporary cybersecurity expert. Okay. Now, this is not escalating, or it can be escalating depending on the situation. So don't eliminate this right away. Escalate to the senior manager for guidance. Okay, that's escalating, right? Obviously. But we never want to escalate. This is working with the HR. So we're going to come back to this. But eliminate C. Urge the engineer to delay their absence until, okay, I think I know what's going on. No, you don't want to urge the engineer to delay their absence. If they need to leave for any reason, you let them. It's their right? If it's an emergency, for example. But during the development of a cybersecurity software solution for a financial services company, an agile team working on vulnerability detection features is informed that a senior software engineer will be absent for several weeks due to a serious, yeah, there we go. So this engineer is going to be absent because of a personal emergency. So we can't just tell the engineer to delay their absence. What we're going to do is we're going to choose B. Okay. Now, you're probably wondering, hey, Mohammed, why don't we choose A? Align it with the team to redistribute tasks based on skills and capacity. Well, when it comes to an agile project, and we are dealing with actually, are we dealing with an agile project? An agile team. There we go. We are dealing with an agile project. People have their hands full. Think of agile as very, very chaotic. Very chaotic. People are working constantly. Think of agile as a startup. People are working. If someone disappears, someone's gone, especially this cybersecurity expert, right? or this a senior software engineer who's not just a nobody. If this person leaves, the workload is going to be too much for the team to handle, right? Especially for an agile project. These team members are already working hard on their personal tasks, right? Or on their work related tasks. So we want to hire a temporary cybersecurity expert, in this case, an SME, to help with the remaining workload. Okay. So we want to work with the HR, work with HR human resources for that. Okay. That's going to be the best answer. Just remember that agile team, agile projects, very, very chaotic. A lot of things happen. Okay, so a manufacturing operation director deeply engaged in an automation upgrade project asserts that the project team's report lack crucial production efficiency metrics. Okay, so there's no metrics. It lacks metrics. We need to fix this situation. What should the project manager do first? Ask the team to update reports of performance metrics and test results. Engage the sponsor. Nope. Inform the stakeholder that reports follow approved templates. So ensure reports comply with communication. Okay, that's not going to be the answer. Communication plan. Why? Inform the stakeholder that reports follow approved templates. Well, we can do that, but what are we doing? We are ignoring the director's request. This is one of our principles. We need to take this person's perspective and actually put it into action, or actually consider it. Okay, so I'm going to ask the team to update the reports. Why the team? Well, the team are the experts. They know which performance metrics to choose, which test results to choose. They know everything about the metrics. They know more than the PM. Okay, they are the experts. So you want to always ask them to update their reports with these performance metrics. Okay, so we are done the exam. I don't know if they're going to give me my results. Are they going to give me the results? I got 9 out of 10. Hold on. Let me see what I got incorrect. I made this very quickly, so I might have done something wrong here. Okay, you know what? Biweekly virtual conference calls with necessary project stakeholders. No, I think No. Biweekly is going to be the answer here. Yes. Biweekly is the answer here because I forgot in my answering that we are dealing with a predictive group of individuals, or predictive team as well. Okay, predictive meetings don't happen that often. Agile meetings happen very often. A good middle ground is biweekly virtual conference calls, okay, with the necessary project stakeholders. Yes. The reason being is because you won't have everyone available at the same time. Oh, I missed this. This is very, very good. You won't have everyone available at the same time. You have your predictive project team members that are all over the place, and your agile team members that are working together, in co-location, for example, working together very, very, very close together. So the best thing is to get them virtually as opposed to in the same location, right? So just think about this way. If you are working in a hybrid environment where you have people that are using a predictive approach and you have people using an agile approach, it's very hard to get everyone in the same room, for example, right? Extremely hard. So the best second thing to do are virtual conference calls. Personal meetings, in-person meetings will always be the best, but the best thing to do in our situation are virtual conference calls, and biweekly, because we're not only dealing with an agile project team, we're dealing with a predictive project team. So with these two things in mind, we want to keep them biweekly with just the necessary project stakeholders. Now, listen, this does not mean that we're not going to have meetings in between or shorter meetings and this and that. This just means that we are going to have this biweekly reoccurring meeting. Okay? Yes. All right, perfect. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I got one wrong. Hopefully you guys got it right when you were doing the answers. But again, I like doing these questions without trying them beforehand, just to put myself in that situation, to explain it as best as I can to you guys. Okay, so join the school community. Let's get your PMP certified, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care and have a fantastic rest of the day.